Hello, everybody. Back here again for our vlog day, and today is Sunday, the 27th. And today was a rather interesting day weather-wise. Started off, they were calling for it to be raining yesterday afternoon, all the way through today, and it didn't really show up until about 7-ish or so, somewhere in there, 7:30. The storm really started coming through. I was actually in Des Moines. That's the weather I guess I know. Woke up in the hotel, race day this morning, and the sidewalks were dry and all that, and it really kind of threw me off. I expected it to be wet and raining. Temperature was chilly. Got to the race. It was trying to rain off and on here and there and whatnot. Still was looking pretty decent outside. It was sprinkling, not really doing a lot, but there was a giant, massive thunderstorm with insane winds coming in off there in West Des Moines area and kind of heading towards the race start. They had postponed the race start. They said it'd be about 10-15 minutes for it to pass. Then they said 20. Then they said 30. Then they said an hour, and I was really expecting at any moment for that just to say it's canceled, go home, have a great day. And I knew as soon as I heard him say half an hour, and then I heard him say an hour, I was running a half marathon or a full marathon somewhere today. So whether it was up in Des Moines on the trails, or if it was on the trail at Carlisle, or coming back home and running from here, I didn't really care which. I just knew I was going to do it somewhere, somehow, someplace. So went ahead. Race got started at about an hour late. Worked out great. Everything was good. By the time we went out to head out to run, it was still sprinkling / raining, not too bad. Time we took off running, it had kind of let up and really stopped. And the rest of the run was absolutely gorgeous. Trying to avoid a lot of the puddles and stuff, and the roads and that, and the water and the corners running down the storm drains. That was the hardest part of the weather part. My shoes stayed semi-dry the whole way through. Worked out awesome. It warmed up enough that I had a long sleeve shirt on underneath my short sleeve shirt. And I really was wishing by probably mile 8-ish or so, maybe 7, I was really wishing I had that gone. It was warm enough. I was kind of starting to sweat pretty good. But overall, about the most perfect weather temp-wise you could get for running. Not too hot, not too cold. Once we started running, it was a little chilly getting started, but it worked out great. Wind was a little bit rough at places. They'd blown some limbs down. They'd pushed out of the way of the trail, the running track and stuff, and some other areas. It was some bark and debris on the road, but not too bad. No real limb to climb over and that kind of thing. So that worked out good. Ended up running almost all of it with my buddy. There's a few times I'd be ahead of him, a few times he'd be ahead of me, back and forth. But we crossed the finish line exact same time as each other. It was really ironic. It was about 11 minutes faster than last year's time, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you stop and think about it. We only ran 13 miles. It's almost a minute off per mile. So really kicked some ass there. Felt great. Came in under 2 hours this time. And for running a half marathon under 2 hours, this is what you get. You get yourself a nice little medal, nice little ribbon to go with it, all that good stuff. I'm not a fan of the red so much. Same medal they had as last year. I also kind of wish they would have changed that up a little bit. Some marathons, halves, and that kind of stuff run the exact same medal every year. Some do different color schemes, same medal. They just change the color of the ribbon. I like the blue a lot better than I like the red, especially being how they gave us blue shirts again this year. So overall, not a big deal. Felt great though. And at the very end, we kind of sprinted towards the end of screwing around. And it was funny, my buddy crossed the line and he backed off real quick, and I didn't get stopped quite as fast as he does. Running a little harder than he was, I think, right there heading into it. And I actually ran into a lady who had stopped like 7 feet past the finish line, which keep on moving. Just, move down 30 yards and then get your medals and have people hand you water. And I kind of blame the volunteers for that, because they keep inching their way up and inching their way up closer and closer to the finish. So it's kind of a pain in the butt at that point. But overall went well. Had the friend of mine who I'd been working with training a little bit. She really hadn't trained at all lately, so I don't know if I should really even try and say I've been training her, because she did not do much training. She'd hurt her hip and really kind of stopped running after that, hadn't done much. She ended up turning in, it was over 40 minutes in the 5K, which was way too slow. Hell, she did better than that when we were out just on our own little practice 5K around here, and it was actually a worse hills, worse trails and stuff, and she, I think, had like a 38 that day. So not real pleased with her time, but she was happy with it. That's the only part that really matters. Went out, grabbed herself some food on the way home for my training and her husband. They grabbed some Burger King. We stopped for an ice cream place on the way home, got some ice cream, ate it the rest of the way home. The one thing after the race I gotta say though, I had like 9 freaking cookies, which was awesome. And I also had a half-gallon of chocolate milk. That a full half-gallon jug sitting there. I popped that baby up, and I drank 7 of the 8 servings. That was awesome. So that was definitely the highlight of the race. Overall, I felt great in the whole race. I had a little bit, about mile 2.5 or so, my right foot really started giving me some problems. By mile 5, it kind of backed off mostly, and by mile 6, it was virtually pain-free. I had just overall aches and that kind of stuff was running. But like I said, we rocked out a sub 9-minute mile pace, overall average, sub 2-hour half, which the winners are doing it, shortly over an hour 16, somewhere in that ballpark range. So we didn't get lapped, which I consider getting lapped means they ran it in half the time it took you to finish it. Crossed the line, like I said, identical times last year, but I think because I signed up earlier, I had a lower bid number, I ranked higher than him. Same as last year, again, I was 1 spot higher than him, even though our times were identical. So that was pretty good. Also, came in the top 550 of runners. Between both of us, we both came in top 550 overall, which is insane. I was super excited about that. I was ranked, I don't know, I want to say 40, I gotta look at the number, 40, 50, something like that in my division, which is also badass. I was pretty excited about that. They also put in a timing chip area on what they call Bulldog Hill. It's this really disgusting, crappy hill. And at the bottom of it, I just decided I wanted to run the hill. I wanted to kick that hill's ass, and I powered up it, went off and just destroyed my buddy. He's like, dude, he goes, I saw you take off, and I just gave up. I was like, I'm going to try and keep up with him. Passed 72 people on that hill this year, 42 last year, 47 last year, 72 this year. I got my numbers mixed up, but 47 last year, 72 this year, and just I counted them as I was going by them. I was just destroying people on that hill. Nobody passed me on that hill, not even close. Ranked 26th overall on that hill out of all the damn runners. I mean, that was insane. I mean, I rocked that hill. I was super excited about it. Got to the top, kind of just picked into a nice, slow, little steady pace from that point on. Gave my buddy a chance to catch up to me. Had a good time. We caught up in front of each other by the stadium. Ran around, did our little, quarter loop on the track this year. Sprinted to the end. Absolutely had an amazing time. We just absolutely blessed. I love the Drake relays. Their run is amazing. Got home, been real tired. Didn't sleep great last night, but overall, super excited about everything. And I'm ready to go out and do some more running again tomorrow. So definitely feel much better today than I felt at the end of the thing 364 days ago. Because it was one day later. It's the 28th last year. But that was the longest run of my life last year, and I was really paying for it. I was suffering. Stomach kicked my butt, everything else there. Didn't have to hit a single portage on today, which was awesome for me because I'm running. It's usually a big deal. So that's pretty much all I've got for now. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have yourself a safe and wonderful day. Thanks for watching.